2018 of the Parks O&M Committee. And according to the new postings, Ms. Hogan is now going to be a member, and Mr. Stroud, I don't know where he is right now, but we're going to move on. So I'll need a motion to approve the minutes of the last month's meeting. Dickinson, Ms. Frazier. Oh, can't take it from you, Ms. Frazier.
Oh, great.
You
still want me to sit in on this?
All right, Mayor, you can sit here right now, because I'm going to need your help in getting this first agenda through. All right. The action business, I'm going to refer over to Jeff to start the discussions.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Chairman. Really, if we move down to Section 5, we've got a few items to discuss. On pages 1 through 3 are some documents we received from Gina Minster of the Lake George Regional, or the LGRCC and the CBB. She's here to make a presentation or proposal, or at least float out to the committee a proposal to manage the website, and then also do some additional promotions on behalf of the Wood Park.
I did want to distribute, this is the outcomes report for the Festival Commons website and social media that we've been handling for the last, we had a contract from June through December, but really it started in 2016, so I wanted to make sure that there was outcomes that you knew that what we had done to date.
Oh, they didn't get one.
Lake George Regional Chamber of Commerce and CBB, we took possession, if you will, of updating the Festival Commons website and social media in 2016. And so for 5 months, from September through December of 2016, we handled that. And then there was a lapse in an actual contract. The contract ended. And while we continued to, because you can't just leave social media and or your website dormant, staff internally, we still continued to update, add whatever events that came up. And then the contract for 2017 began in June. It was June through December 31st. So that contract is up. And so I wanted to come in front of the Parks O&M Committee to talk about the future of both the Festival Commons website, the social media and PR and other promotion of the Festival Commons as an entity here in the county. And so the outcomes report really is what have we done for you lately? So in that management, there was everything from hosting of events and covering those events from both a photography and a videography standpoint to ensuring that there was engagement on social media. All of our efforts were organic, so there was no additional money put toward those entities in terms of our time and effort. So there was not boosted posts or other advertising which one would do in the social media world. There was no money that were put toward SEO, search engine optimization of the actual site. Those were not budgeted items, they were not proposed, they were not in our contract. So the one thing that was in our contract was to produce a brochure on the actual Festival Commons that would be a selling tool. And unfortunately, in the changeover of leadership at the Chamber, once I understood, and thank you to Mayor Blaze for bringing it to my attention as the Executive Director of what we would be responsible for, we then did turn out what we would call a profile sheet on the Festival Commons that could be used as a selling tool. One that we would normally use in our selling of any venue in the market area, whether it's the Cool and Cheering Arena, the Festival Commons. So we tried to put specs together that an event planner would need to know specifically to want to buy and to actually invest in that facility to use for a festival, an event, or what have you. So that is in the village's hands, but we're not proposing to do anything more with regard to that type of promotion. We would still normally sell it anyway as another venue in the market area as the Chamber and CBB. What we were proposing is to continue managing the Festival Commons website and the social media for to enhance the events that are happening at the Commons throughout the year. And so before you, you have what we believe are needed to do that in terms of time and effort, whether it's managed weekly, daily, weekly, monthly page updates of the website, as well as postings on social media sites, not limited to, but these are the ones that we currently have as marketed, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and YouTube. We have produced 21 videos over the last year that are being used to promote the Festival Commons and or the events as follow-up to events that are happening, that have happened there. We're proposing for our time and effort for an annual contract versus a 6-month contract, the equivalent of $10,000. And so we've divided that up into quarters, the quarterly, so that we would be able to come back to the committee to show, what have we done for you lately versus an annual report. We wanted to make sure that that was key, that you do know that there's things happening on behalf of the county with regard to this entity or this marketing tool. The other piece that we are proposing, and this is really separate than the contract, is to put money toward the actual promotion of, it would be advertising and promotion of both the site and the social media site. So it could be in the form of Google AdWords to gain more exposure for the Festival Commons website, as well as the actual Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram posts to actually put money behind them. Specifically for certain events. So, for instance, there's a car show coming up. We would say 2 weeks out that event is really posted to boost those posts. So you could, we would do it demographically. Those interested in car shows would see that ad would follow them. It's a way that both Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, there's a form of advertising for that. So we have that. That's page 3 of this as a part of this. So I don't know if there's any other questions. I know people did receive this, the committee received this in advance, and I'm here for you. Yes?
Jeannie, you seem quite knowledgeable with all the, with your presentation. Who actually is doing all this?
Amanda Metzger. Unfortunately, Amanda is sick, and we are not going to bring her here today to invite anybody in this room.
I appreciate that.
But I think that anybody who's worked with Amanda, we've worked closely with Mayor Blaze, so anything he's requested has really gone straight to Amanda on our staff, quite honestly. So she is the one who prepared the actual Festival Commons website and media report. Because she's the one who has physically done all the work. She has physically gone and photographed those events. She has gone and videoed events and posted all of that. She's created that content for both the website and our social media site. So she's been the actual boots on the ground for all of the activities that we perform.
So your annual $10,000 contract would include all of the social media, including
That's
promotion?
correct.
Including promotion.
That's correct.
Okay.
It would not include there's an additional for any additional advertising. So on page 3, it actually, we're suggesting a minimal advertising commitment of roughly about $2,700. We divided that out among 7 months of search because we feel that those are the months that are most active within the actual facility. So, I mean, right now, you can only show snow on the ground for the facility, so it's not like we, other than talking about the events that have been here over time. But so that's why we were proposing a minimum of, roughly 400. That's a real minimum. There's other marketing folks that look at other people that are marketing their entities. That's a fair minimum from a search optimization by Google AdWords or other ways to boost those sites.
Snow on the ground is a phenomenon for us.
Oh, for everywhere else, but not to showcase the Commons. Dennis, this needs to go before the acting.
Is that what you're looking for?
This committee that has just been done.
That's the one thing that'll happen, and have to move to OCTAX. But the other thing, too, I'd like Mary to give us a little synopsis on the way we got to handle this.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. So the county purchasing policy requires anything that's going to cost over $5,000 a year, there needs to be 3 written quotes for that, between $5,000 and $20,000. So before the county can move on this, they'll need 3 quotes for this type of service, unless you can write a letter to the county that says you're the sole source for providing this type of service.
Yeah, there are everybody from managed marketing in the market
Right.
to, there's other Black Dog, there's other people in the market that could do the stage service.
Right. Well, and we not got away with it. We're under the cap of 5,000 because that's what we've been paying the chamber for the last 2 or 3 years.
For 6 months of
That's why we didn't
staff
need,
time.
we didn't need that, so.
So we need to do 2 6-month contracts?
Per year.
Gotta be pretty. So we gonna have to advertise it and get it together, and we'll get with Mary to make up I guess an RFP or proposals.
We don't need an RFP, it's
Just-
just 3 written quotes.
Okay, 3 quotes. We'll get that out and see what comes back by next month. All right? But thank you for your time and effort.
It's RFP, but I mean, you need to describe what you want, right?
Yeah, well, it'll be that, but it'll be for a
Who's
quote.
going to draft the RFP, or who's going to draft the proposal?
I think
Julie Butler will do
Julie
it.
will do it, and I'll work with you, Mayor, on it with Julie, and get the right wording of what we need. All right, is that okay with everybody here? So there will be a delay of about a month.
Oh, absolutely.
All
Thank
right.
you for your time.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, the next item on the discussion items was the portable stage bid, and Mayor Blaze has been heading that up and had some information for the committee, or...
Well,
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, can
Yeah.
you give us a little synopsis of this program that we've been working on for about 3 years? Because there are new members on the board, and there are new voting members at the county. I'd like to get it all out straight of how long we've been working this and how much we're, so everybody knows. It looks like, if somebody read this, it looks like we're going to spend $250,000 through the county, and I want you to explain how we're doing it.
The present situation right from the start was whether we were going to need a stage at the Festival Commons at all, because obviously all of our events, a matter of fact, a great majority of the events now we're finding out do not need a stage. So originally, when we conceived the Festival Commons, we put together a committee of people that were in the event business, promoters, music promoters, and so on. And they designed a permanent stage, which through 2 or 3 meetings that we went to down with Elan Planning and Design, who were the designers of the festival space, was going to be anywhere between $750,000 and $1 million, and obviously take up a great deal of space and be in one permanent location. And then as the Festival's Commons started booking events, we realized that not only would we be losing space with a permanent stage there, but many of the events, such as car shows, the wine festival, and those events did not even require a stage. So we conceived then the idea of a portable stage that would be able to be moved on-site, very similar to what they've been using for the past 3 years. Promoters have to rent a stage. It's brought on-site by a tractor trailer and set up the day before the event usually, and removed the day after. And we also found out that working with 4 or 5 different promoters, that they all had their own idea where the stage ought to be. So thankfully we didn't build a stage in one place. So we met again, formed a committee, got together with people that were knowledgeable about what was necessary, and put together a set of specs for a portable stage that would be useful not only at the Festival Commons, but be useful throughout the county for any town or organization that had an event that needed a stage, such as some of the events that are occurring now in downtown Glens Falls, the Balloon Festival over at the Warren County Airport, that the stage would be useful throughout Warren County. We asked the county purchasing department to put the stage out to bid. They did. We received 2 bids. You might have copies of those bids in your packet, I'm not sure. And the bids came in, Stageline Mobile Stage Company Incorporated, which is the largest provider of stages in the world. They're located in Canada, came in with a low bid of $225,425 for the basic stage. And then there were several options, so our committee got together with 4 of the promoters that have been utilizing the Festival Commons, and we asked them what of these options should we be considering when we make the purchase. And with the options, the total quote came up to $282,595. We received a grant from Senator Little's office through the New York State Dormitory Authority 2 years ago. The village received a grant, and we've been working with them, and we obviously got permission from them to go out to bid. So we have $200,000 on hand to purchase the stage. What I'm going to suggest today is that the village purchase the stage with no cost to Warren County. The village will put up the additional $82,595. The stage needs to be stored, it needs to be maintained, it needs to have a certified technician on site when it goes to any location, and we're prepared to do all that. Our idea would be that we would have an intermunicipal agreement with Warren County that the stage would be available for any events at Wood Park before we were able to use it for any other events. In other words, whatever events were at Wood Park, they would be guaranteed use of this stage. The average cost of a stage, according to the promoters, to rent is $3,000 to $3,500 a day. We would propose to charge $1,500 at the Festival Commons for the first day and $1,000 for the second day. That would cover the cost of our labor, our technicians, setting it up, taking it down, insurance, so on and so forth. So I brought this to my board last month, asked them if they were interested. We're working on our budget now for 2018-19, and our board approved the purchase of the stage in its entirety. We think it's going to make it a lot easier for people to rent it. It's going to be a lot easier for us to maintain it because we're now taking care of the Festival Commons. We have an attendant on site, and also make the stage available to anyone that wants to use it, any municipality or not-for-profit organization in Warren County, at a price $500 more than what we intend to charge at the Festival Commons. So that's my pitch today. The village received the grant. The village put the matter out to bid. I think it makes sense for the village to take care of the stage and use it. We have means to move it. We have a gentleman that lives in the town of Lake George, Bob Ledoux, who owns two of these stages already, and he's agreed to come to work for us as the technician and take care of this stage and move it when necessary for us, so we don't have to bother anybody else. We'd have to be calling Jeff to see if the tractor was available, or Dennis to see if their tractor's available if we had a gig somewhere. And to be honest with you, I see a possibility that in 4 or 5 years the village will recoup the $82,000 with our rental fees. That's the bare fact. So I don't think in the end it will end up costing the village 82. I think years from now, maybe 5, 6, 7, we'll be making a little money on the stage. but Dave loves this idea. As you can tell, my superintendent, he just loves the idea that I want to buy it, but the village board said yes. So I'm here today to find out if at least this committee, and I'm not sure if it has to go beyond here, probably does, but I'm not sure. I'm just here today to tell you that the village is willing to purchase the stage and make it available as necessary at the Festival Commons for as long as it's usable. And we'll do that with an intermunicipal agreement.
Mayor, I think that's a great synopsis. I'm glad of your ability to take care of all that stuff for us and keep all those problems away from us. So, I mean, anybody want to make a motion to go ahead with the proposal that Mayor Blaze made? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let's get it on the table.
Let's get it on the table.
I'd make a motion that this committee supports the village in their purchase of the stage, and wish them well with it, and thank you for taking it off our hands.
Yeah. All right, then we'll do the second. Ms. Hogan, would you like to second that?
Sure.
Now we're open for questions.
My question is, like, if the county wanted to use the stage for the Balloon Fest,
Correct.
would they still pay the $1,500 or $2,000 a day to rent it?
I hadn't thought about that, but there would have to be a fee because of the
Well, I know
three
it's-
people, but it would be that fee that we charge the Festival Commons. In other words, anybody in Warren County, in my opinion, should pay the same price, but they would have to pay something, and the fee should be.
Because maybe we should balk at you buying it and let us contribute the $80,000 and we use it all the time and get the money back. But
Right.
I'm just curious about, the county is a partner, you're purchasing it, but the county would still pay the rental fees for the use of the stage on county-owned events or
Okay.
county-sponsored events.
I think yes, because
We gotta move it.
Yeah, and remember that the average price, and you can check this out, is between $3,500, so it's a huge savings. But, to help us defray the original investment, and to help us, we figured out the other day, it's probably going to cost us about $500 to put up and take down with the technician. He has to be a certified technician on site. And then you've got the maintenance, annual maintenance of the stage, and you've got the insurance.
That all seems reasonable.
So I think $1,500 is a very fair price. Now, if it was a Warren County sponsored event, I would say it would be less, the same as it would be, for instance, if we used it. But we'll arrive at some, once we get the stage down here and Mr. Beresford describes to Dave what's necessary to put it up, take it down, how many people we need, we'll come up with a very reasonable price for use in Warren County by municipalities or not-for-profits, not for someone to come in.
Yeah, I just caution you to try to pick a price now because,
Yeah.
these can be pretty complicated putting it up and taking them down. And you remember, these are done by professional road companies that put these up and take them down. So you might want to temper your fees until you...
Well, I've already discussed this with the
Okay.
stage man from the town of Lake George, Bob LaRue, and he's given me an idea of what he's going to charge us to transport it and so on. And so I did come up with this $1,500 fee.
Yeah, I just don't want you to short yourself and come back.
No,
and
we
have a
won't.
big-
And as I say, the second day, like for the second day...
I should know better than say you're
Like the
gonna charge me.
Warrensburg, like the
I
Warrensburg
got
Fireman's Jamboree,
I got you.
There's where we're going.
which uses a flatbed now. To add some class to that event, the second day shouldn't be $1,500, it should be like $750.
I got you. Okay, thank you, Mayor.
I think Dave got it, Kevin.
All right, we got it under control, but we'll have all the regular numbers,
But
but...
it just seems so logical to me because the grant was in our name,
Right.
and we can do it, we can get the personnel to do it, and we're there anyway at the Festival Commons during every event that we could easily watch over the stage and not have two owners.
Yeah, no.
And try to bother Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff, you have something to say?
Yeah, I was just thinking, it doesn't appear that
When you
there's
think.
What's that?
Afraid when you think too much. Go ahead.
Never mind it. Yeah, it doesn't appear that there's an action for the county board to take, but one thing that we should kind of refer maybe through Mary to our insurance carrier. Right now, the county carries the insurance on the park. My understanding is the village would have some additional insurance for this stage. So I think that's the one important piece for the county to be on the same page is what are the insurance requirements. Right now, when a private vendor comes in and sets up a stage, the event insurance and the vendor insurance covers the county for the liability on that stage. So we want to make sure that we're on the same page as far as what insurance is carried by the village.
This will be an asset. Obviously, the village will have to insure it. We'll have to have liability insurance on it. Yeah, I just had some figures here, but I already talked about it. But that's our proposal as far as the stage is concerned, Mr. Chairman.
All right. I think, any other questions or suggestions? Yeah, I know. Okay. All right, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, pass. Go to it, Mr. Mayor.
Second thing we proposed a time ago that we do something at the Gaslight Village site to show people what it was before, and we have the actual sign here today that we intend to set up near the entranceway to the site so people will know a little bit about the history of Gaslight Village, what it was, and those are the actual photographs given to us by the Gaslight Village committee folks.
They came out really clear. They were just old copies of stuff, and kind of gives you history on it.
Great idea.
We have
at the entrance coming from the restrooms back into the festival space.
Yeah, it's got a big steel structure that was welded up and it's been fabricated. It's just waiting to go in the ground. So it'll be kind of an interesting little.
All right, Mr. Mayor, thank you for all your help and the work.
The last item that I have, Mr. Chairman, is involves Americade's use of the area. About 2 months ago, I guess, Christian approached me and we discussed the fact that he needed to consider making some changes with Americade because of some things which I'm certain he'll explain to you. And after talking with him, it seemed possible, at least conceptually, that we could move his expo to the Festival Commons area, Wood Park, the county parking lot on Westbrook Road, and the village's Beach Road parking lot. All of those areas are contiguous with each other. They fairly easily can be secured, fenced in. Some fencing is already there. So in proposing that to Mr. Dutcher as a cost savings means, we then had some subsequent meetings, and I'll let Christian, if it's okay, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Explain to you what really the need is to make some changes in Americade.
Hello, everybody.
You want to get up to the podium so it gets the microphone? Some of us.
Hello, everybody. Yes, I approached the mayor a bit ago and explained some of the changes that are afoot and that have been going on for some time with Americade, and the need for us to change our, lower our overhead, frankly. And through that conversation, we arrived upon a solution where, a hopeful solution, where we would relocate our expo to the Beach Road parking lot, the Festival of Common Space, and the county park. It's called the county parking lot, right? Formerly Westbrook lot. Yeah, Westbrook lot. Okay. And that would meet our space needs, just barely, but it would meet our space needs. And it would probably benefit the customers in the area, namely that it's more convenient, but fundamentally at the heart of the discussion was the need to lower overhead. So we've arrived, I believe, at a proposed solution. Hopeful that the board supports it.
Do you want to explain what?
Well, what Christian and I discussed was obviously there's a great deal of setup necessary for his expo, and evidently the cost that was projected to Christian at the state beach, we're trying to work out something whereby we can cut his overhead there. By renting the wood park for 5 days, which is the duration of his expo, at the current price of $1,500, renting the Beach Road parking lot for 5 days at $1,500, which was our price, and renting the Wood County parking lot for 5 days at $2,000, which is the current price, would result in a savings for Christian of $25,000 over the cost of the $1 Million Beach parking lot. So the county, our cost then would be $25,000. The $10,000 for the parking lot, $7,500 for the wood park, and $7,500 for the Beach Road. Obviously, he needs to come in there prior to those days to put up his fencing and do other work, and we would be granting him those days at no cost. Certainly speaking for the Festival Commons area, there would be nobody else in there in any event. I can't speak for the county parking lot, but we did look at the revenues and they weren't that substantial for that first week in June. And the Beach Road parking lot, he would do that last, because that would impact our parking substantially, but that he'd only set up a couple of days ahead. So last night I approached our village board with it, and the village board agreed, because of the value of Americade, obviously, there's a way that we can accommodate them and save them some overhead costs. And I don't know how much you want to get into those reasons, Christian, but I think it bears some comment.
Estra is before,
Estra, the tow truck show will be out of there on Sunday, so you'll have a full 6-7 days. They may leave, they're gone, I mean, they're gone on early Monday morning.
Yep.
Mr. Dickinson?
I have as well talked to Christian and Nora three times. The town is thoroughly engaged with this. It seems like a really good idea. It will consolidate his whole setup. You'd be able to walk from one end to the other without any problem, and hopefully it'll get him where he wants to go.
Yeah, regarding the behind-the-scenes causes for this, the entire motorcycle industry, the entire auto industry is on its heels, and the motorcycle industry is in far worse shape than an item that's considered necessary, like a car. A motorcycle is not considered necessary by most of us. And the whole industry is reeling from that, including events. And there are a lot of events that are were operating under a totally different set of economics than they did, say, 10, 15 years ago. And we are no exception. And it's our organization has become extremely lean and mean. Right now, Nora and I are here, though we were an office of 12 not so long ago. While Nora and I are here, that means there are 3 people left in the office right now. We have trimmed things back considerably, and I am now I've determined that in order to be able to provide the product that attracts these people for the full week coming up from Texas and Florida, I need to cut some additional overhead. So that is the genesis of these conversations.
All right, just on the recommendation of Jeff, we're going to refer, I mean, everything I think is fine, I'm all in favor, but I think we should recommend that part to the DPW meeting, just to make sure that group of supervisors know what we're doing, so nobody could say that they didn't know about it.
Yeah, and just for everyone's information, the Westbrook parking lot that's administered by the county and the DPW committee, we established the daily rate based on a weekend rate of the revenue that would be brought in on a typical weekend. So I think from the standpoint of lost revenue, I think that would be much less lost revenue giving those days to Americade during the weekdays. That $2,000 a day rate was really based on weekends and what that lot can generate. So I think that's a good way to handle this, would be to refer it on to DPW. And I don't know that it would be necessary for you to come again, Christian. I think I can, talk through with the DPW committee and get official approval from the county board.
Mr. Dickinson?
If I could, I'd like to make a motion that we support this proposal and that we forward it on to the DPW for their consideration.
All right, I need a second. Mayor, second. Any other questions? So we're all in favor of everything that was said, and the only thing, we're just going to refer it to the DPW committee so that different supervisors know what's going on, so nobody could say down the road, oh, I didn't know that was happening. All right, we're trying to be transparent this year.
Now you
Right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thanks, Jeff. Thank you.
I think we have one more thing that we need to do. A while ago, mentioned to me that we needed to update Resolution 373 of 2015 just to state the fees at the Charles Park. So, based on what we decided last year, it would be $1,500 for the first day. $1,500 per day. Setup is $500, tear down is $500, and there's a $500 security deposit that is due, I believe it's 10 days, yes, 10 days in advance of the event. There's a non-refundable deposit of $1,000 for the first day, and $500 for each additional day. So I just marked up this.
That was last year?
What was it last
This was
one?
actually, this is a resolution from 2015. We never
Did one for
amended
six?
it for
Okay.
2016. So this would be the fees for 2018.
What was the last thing you said, 1,500?
It's a non-refundable deposit, we decided, of $1,000 for the first day and $500 for each additional day.
Okay.
Mr.
So
Mayor,
if
is those
so if it
numbers
back
right
up.
with you?
That was because, if you recall, we
People-
discussed it. We had two events that canceled on us, like 10 days before, because they thought they knew the weather better than the weatherman, which they didn't. And we did not have all we had was their $500
Right.
deposit, and we could have booked another event in one of those instances. So we decided if we could get more money up front, they'd be less apt to drop out on us when they looked at the weather.
Okay.
Great.
Everybody agree with that?
Yep.
Is that, I need a motion then.
I'll make that motion. We update the rates.
Need a second?
Second.
We get a second on that motion?
Yes.
Ms. Hogan, thank you.
I'll do that.
All right, we'll do that up and give it to Amanda and give it
I want to
to
make sure you know about this.
All right, so we got a motion and a second. Everybody, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And it's passed. All right, privilege to the floor. Anybody from the floor like to make any comments or anything like we can do? Seeing none, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Mr. Dickinson, Ms. Hogan, all in favor? Aye. Good, thanks.
Are you getting off, Ed?
Well, there was a